The big cash grab now is kids' books. You know, that's a big cash grab by comedians now. You notice this? Everyone has a kid book. Peter Hellier has one. Dave Williams has one from Little Britain. Magna has one. Ando has one. That's the big cash grab now.
How do they work out that that's what they're going to do? Like, is it just contagious? Is it a contagious idea?
That there's this whole wave of comedians writing the shittiest kids books. I mean, I think you don't have to be a good, like Roald Dahl was an artist and had profound metaphors that sort of were equally as appealing to adults. But now it's all shit. Like I bought my son fucking Dave Williams book, and it's all the bad dentist, or grandma farted on the bus. You know, it's not like the Big Friendly Giant or, you know, any of those. Matilda, the girl that could, you know, read books and use, you know, move things with her mind. And it's all shit like grandma, the bad grandma, the evil grandma and the bad dentist, and they all farted. It's all shit, you know, it's drivel shit. It's a cash grab. I could get, they won't print my book. Yeah, I want to release for kids. It's my kids' book, which is called Stare into the Void and the Void Stares Back. They won't print that, and I've actually written out a bit from, like, I've tried to make it accessible for kids. So I've written a little bit here. The bad grandma put on her helmet and she jumped on her Harley Davidson and rode off into the night, jumping from rooftop to rooftop. And then the bad grandma screamed, "I overcame myself, the great sufferer. I bore my ashes to the mountain and found a brighter flame." So
sounds uplifting.
They won't print that.
Poor children.
Poor children.
Too dark. Do you think too dark for the children?
No, let the children face existential crisis early. We should hurl dead bodies into kids' playgrounds, I think. You know, just like expose kids to horror early and educate them on death and life and decay.
The problem is because the Garden of Eden extends too long, doesn't it? Like you got 20-year-olds going around, they don't know what a funeral is, you know?
That's right, yeah.
Like, because they're just in these bubbles. Like,
they're in these bubbles.
They should make Chernobyl a theme park for kids.
That's right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was a nuclear catastrophe here. Yeah.
Yeah.
People melted.
There's a hall of mirrors where you scream. You see a guy with two heads. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they just need to see that part of life, you know?
Yeah. Because these kids' books, they seem like they're all just like pure silly or pure like fun. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, that's what I mean. Roald Dahl's
books have like a scary part.
They have a scary part. And you need the scary part. Grandma farted on the bus. Yeah, grandma's going to die. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
We're all nothing.
Grandma's got COVID. You know?
Grandma's got COVID. Oh, God.
Today I had to watch Grandma get cremated on Zoom. It was a bad day. It was a bad day.
Oh,
but luckily
God.
we had some donuts to wash it down.
Oh, that's dark. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to, you know, let's not be offended. You know, let's not be offended. That's we're laughing at the tragedy of life, aren't we, Dan? That's what we're here to do.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and
maybe Grandma farted on the bus because she has indigestion from COVID, from coronavirus, because it does cause nausea and indigestion in like 20% of 80, you know. So it's not all fun. It's not all funny.
Yeah, it's not all.
It could be a symptom.
Yeah. The bad dentist, the evil dentist is going to take all my teeth. Probably because he's probably a sociopath. He's a sociopath who is diagnosed you with dental problems you don't have, so he can take more of your parents' money because he's got a Novocaine habit where he's buying and dealing Novocaine as an illegal street drug, and he lives alone in a mansion and he has sex with sex workers. He has a problem.
You're describing Dracula, basically. Sort of a Dracula dentist.
That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of character they have in these fucking kids' books. The Dracula dentist farted today and he took all my teeth. And he's a sociopath who lives alone in a mansion. And he trawls the streets for sex workers. And he has sex where he ties them up.
With Novocaine. And like it is bulk billed. Yeah, it is.
I'm just trying to say, people think this podcast is derailed now, but it hasn't. We're trying to say, what are we trying to say?
Well, just that kids' books should not be just all like my bum went psycho and it was silly and I went on a spaceship. It should be like there are dangerous people outside and they have knives. And they're on the roof sometimes. And like Roald Dahl would do that where like I remember reading Roald Dahl and I was like, oh shit, death is real. Like it was like people can betray you. They will. They have crumbs in their beard and they're going to betray you. Like there was they resent you or whatever. There's like a deep sort of psychosocial meaning to it as well.
I agree. Yeah,
where you feel the darkness.
There were three-dimensional, sinister characters in Roald Dahl, where, in a way, although we crassly were doing it today, crassly joking, but in a way, he does address those things.
Yeah. Oh man, people love dogs, eh? Like really, really love them.
The dog loving thing's gone too far.
And I'd like to get this on record. I love dogs as well.
I love dogs.
But I just don't want to make it a cornerstone of my personality. Like do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to make it my whole being is just to love dogs. Like that's my whole personality is just based around loving dogs.
I think it's a narcissistic like extension of the narcissistic culture right now, which is like, okay, I've got a dog. I love my dog. But then it becomes like, I dress up my dog. I photograph myself with my dog. One guy I saw on Instagram had a birthday party for their dog. So it becomes this weird projection of their narcissism. And it's kind of sickening. I'm sick of seeing yuppie fucking upper middle class cunts come in with a rare dog that looks fucking retarded. Literally, the correct use of the word, a retarded genome, where it's all fucking weird looking and it can't breathe, but it's expensive. And they bring that cunt in with a fucking golden collar and its own dog bowl. And
that sounds like a good description to me. Yeah.
And they sit it down, and it's like everyone has a weird name like Andrea. And they all fucking gather around and pat it. And they're like, oh, it's so beautiful. Dogs. And just endless dog and cat videos and shit on social media. It's just fucking... You meet a...
It's the... you see like a golden retriever and its name is Clive. And it's drinking like a mocha frappuccino that it's got like specially in a doggy bowl, like in a doggy cappuccino thing. Do you know what I mean? And then you can see the owner of the dog, like kind of just secretly loving the attention that their whole debacle with their dog is like the attention that it brings, that they've got this whole situation with the dog and, they're performatively like conversing with it. Because I believe that is performative Like in the sense that people, they're like, get a look at this. Oh, you little art of frappuccino. Like
You're
they're
really
creating a scene with the dog.
you're really tapping into the narcissism there. It is performative, and it's showboating the dog and how they dress it and how they treat it, and it becomes this performance. And other people come over and they go, "Oh my god, its name's Andrea. It's so cute. It's got its own little dog," and just oh ma, and then they pat it and it's like oh, and it's so cute. And then like I reckon we're at a stage now where if you went into a really bourgeois inner city upper middle class cafe and someone was coddling their dog and loving it and patting it, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, so look at it! Oh, look how much he loves this dog," and then actually like slowly started patting it, and then actually got their dick out and started fucking the dog in the cafe, like, and the dog's enjoying it, you know, like it's not like the dog has been tricked with, you know, treats or whatever. It's like genuine. Let's say in this analogy that the dog, in this reality, the dog really enjoys the owner having sex with it, and it hasn't been tricked with treats. Like it's not Pavlov's rape or whatever. It's not a trick.
Oh, yeah, you're not Pavloving it up.
Pavloving it up.
It's just an organic.
It's an organic
moment of.
It's an organic.
It's
love,
an organic extension.
An organic extension of the love relationship between the man and his dog, and he actually fucks the dog in the cafe. I don't know if people would stop him. That's my point.
No, I think it's certainly not going to interrupt your poke bowl of a Sunday morning if you see something like that, and it's already got a mocha frappuccino kind of little doggy bowl, and what's the next level up? You know, isn't it? It's Maslow's hierarchy of fucking a dog or whatever. You know?
Man's best friend, dog gets fucking like, you know, its own bowl and special high level collar. Dog gets special treatment. They have dog baths now, walking services, dog psychology, dog medication.
Instagram account. It's got its own Instagram.
And its own Instagram account. Dog has birthdays. Dog is reaching a point of self-actualization where the dog... No, they do.
Yeah.
They do. They have dog parties now for the dog. That's how level the narcissism go. The next step and the only step left in this hierarchy is for someone to publicly fuck their dog and for people to be okay with it.
Which I think we're at now, judging by my local cafe where that happened last week. But yeah, and no one called the police. But and I think it's just it's crazy how.
Were there little middle-aged mothers and parents gathering around while it happened, going, "Look, Andrea loves it. He loves it. Pavlov's fucking dog, where you give it a treat and its asshole gets moistened by the idea that it's going to get fucked if it hears the bell." That's the Pavlov experiment. Dog hears the bell.
Well, that's the problem.
The
bell, it also means.
But the dog's
the bell's for your flat white. Well, yeah, the bell could be for your eggs Benedict in the kitchen too. You know what I mean? The doggy eggs Benedict. That's right. The bell. Like doggy you don't know Benedict. what doggy, and it's just you know, it's just the performative nature of it that does
upset you.
That is the annoying part. Because it's almost like a substitute for having like any interests or personality, or it's just like, oh, the dog does all the heavy lifting with me. I'm nothing. I'm a blank vessel for carrying it around.
Externally focused obsession. And I know this is a long bow to draw, but you know, like about 10 years ago, it was all about beards, beard talk, beards.
Oh,
beards,
I see. Yeah.
Wasn't it? Beard this, beard that. I've got a beard. I'm going to grow a beard. Look at this guy's beards. And it was sort of the birth of hipsterdom, and all that stuff was happening. All everyone talking about was beards. And now it's become dogs. And to a lesser degree, cats. And then a lesser degree, animals. And then a lesser degree, actual people.
I remember the beard thing because it was just like, I've got a beard. I'm beard guy with the beard. And like, then the beard, of course, also does all the heavy lifting as well as the rest of their person just atrophies, their personality atrophies because they've got the beard doing the heavy lifting. You know what I mean? You know, when you don't
when
use
anyone
something
I've
for
ever
ages, it
met
just
who's got
atrophies.
anyone who I've ever met who's got a really elaborate beard that defines their personality has never says anything, because gradually their personality shrinks.
Yeah.
And you go up to anyone with a beard, any conversation we've ever had is like,
It
hey man,
erodes.
what's up? That's a crazy beard. And they're like, yeah. So what do you do, man? Oh, I get around. Dude, you're going to have to do a little bit more work. Your beard isn't carrying as much as you think, cunt. Okay? You can't just be a beard through life.
Yeah. And then, it was the beard oil. There was a beard culture, which is now gone a little bit. Like, you don't hear it. But it's true. Yeah, you're like, yeah, what's going on? The beard guy. And then the beard guy is supposed to be mysterious because they have nothing to offer. So you're like, oh, I wonder what the beard guy. Let's get the beard guy. He's cool. He's fun.
He's just literally a human coat hanger holding a beard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he's just a beard that you invite the beard to parties, and the beard stands around and people walk around and go, look at the beard, which is what the purpose dogs serve now.
A dog is a new beard. It's like having the best.
A dog is like a beard that you walk around and everyone goes, look at the dog beard, the beard. Is he fucking his beard?
And you've also got to use oil on it. You've got to use like oil on it, and like, you know what I mean? Like there's maintenance to the dog, and like, because then their whole life becomes about maintaining the beard, like putting beard oil in it, getting trims, reading beard magazines. Have you ever read a magazine? It'll have like 20 pages on beard maintenance.
Well, you laugh about it and stuff, and we all have a bit of a laugh and, whatever. But, there was a guy I know that he just became his beard. Like he stopped to exist, and eventually the beard took over everything, and he sort of atrophied, and the beard started speaking for itself and voting, and he just, his eyes sort of sealed over, and there was nothing left of him but his beard. So his beard
was that. It was just
his beard was walking, talking.
I remember, I worked at a craft beer place, and when I went in one day to start work, there was just a beard where I used to be, like doing my job. It was just a beard with nothing else, just a beard.
Just a floating beard. That's what I'm trying to say. Eventually, once the personality goes, the brain rots, and then the body stops ceasing to need to exist, and it sort of just rots away, and then all that you're left with is the beard. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's probably good that they've moved on to dogs. I'm an atheist, but I've noticed that I feel a tremendous sense of shame after sex, which I think comes from Catholic guilt. Like I always feel like after sex, there's this element of like God's kind of watched me have sex and gone, yuck. That was disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's the only time I talk to God. It's the only time I feel that God exists is after sex or masturbation, and he's not happy.
Oh, so it's not even a good feeling of spirituality, like an embrace, like at least because you have contact with the numinous in that moment, at least.
They say that
judgment.
They say that in Western culture, we're all Christians, whether we're atheist or not. That philosophical idea that it's just embedded in the way we think. And I don't think there's a better example than my only spiritual moment is when God looks down and frowns on me after sex or masturbation. That's got to be a Catholic thing, right? Like Scientologists aren't having that.
Yeah, the Protestant. No, Scientologists is just like, hell yeah, keep it up. Good on you. Just don't turn on us and it's all going to be good. Like, just don't talk to the media about us and it's fine, Like, was Catholicism so like vague and ambiguous? You're born into guilt.
You don't feel that? Because I just assume that you would feel tremendous shame and guilt after sex?
I feel a sort of just a level of shame that's continuous, and if anything, probably feel less shame post-coitally.
Right. So you feel like it alleviates your harrowing shame.
Well, it's just like a small window of just not having many thoughts for a bit, I find.
Interesting.
Because, yeah, it's like a relief of thought. And therefore shame, because I feel like shame is like thoughts when you've got so many thoughts happening.
Right. That's probably why I feel so ashamed all the time.
So your thoughts flood in this state.
Yeah, it's sort of like a feeling of just like, ugh. I've never felt like after sex, I've never been like, yeah, fuck. You know those people that are like about sex that are kind of like, yeah, fuck yeah, smashing pussy, yeah, or whatever the female equivalent is. Fuck yeah. I just fucked, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like I heard a rap song the other day and the guy goes, other people need, I need pussy, other people need food. I need pussy, other people need food. Like, that's not the level I'm at.
It seems like he's just disregarding food's integral role to functioning almost. Like for him, like having lunch, like he needs it like having lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he needs a sandwich.
That seems like a healthier relationship with sex in a way. Because at least he's like, I'm enjoying sex and it's okay to have sex. And isn't the whole leftist thing now sex positivity? Have sex, enjoy sex, sex is fine.
That's interesting thing with the sex positivity thing, because like I've noticed there's a lot of that where it's like I fisted someone and worked him as a puppet and they loved it, and it's let's celebrate that. You know what I mean? Like I get whipped with candle wax, and you know, I'm on a leash half the time and it's fantastic and people applaud that. You know what I mean? Because it's celebration,
celebration of sex.
But
yeah,
there's a weird thing where, like, say in the 50s, you know, say you're in like Mad Men style office. You know what I mean? Like just very conservative, suited 50s conservatism. It almost feels like there was no sex positivity in that. Like if someone found out you did anal with your wife, you could lose your job almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like, it'd be like Johnson. Last night, I gave my wife up the ass or whatever, and then
I think that's a bad example. It's more like now, like sex kinks are so positive, whereas in the 50s, sex kinks you would have been seen like there was something wrong with you, because everybody's got a kink to varying degrees. So it would have been more like, hey, Johnson, last night I heard your wife whacked on a strap-on and pounded you up the ass while you were dressed in a gimp suit, and then she led you around the place with a lead and made you drink out of a dog bowl, you filthy animal. You're fucking strange, Johnson.
Yeah. And then also, Johnson, you're fired, asshole. That's
Johnson, you're fired. We found out that
asshole.
you like to lie on the ground while your wife puts on high heels and stands on your testicle ball sack.
You're fired, Johnson. You're fired. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Johnson, we heard that you like to lie in a bath of milk while your wife pisses on your face, Johnson. What the fuck is this? Get the fuck out of here. Hit the bricks. Whereas now it'd be like an article in the Courier Mail, like, you know, the lifestyle magazine of the newspaper, where it's like, CEO of major insurance company likes getting pissed on while in a bath of milk. Sex positive choices for CEOs.
Yeah,
progressive.
Yeah, he makes him more focused in the boardroom when he gets trampled on by high heels. They make it like about wellness as well. Like it relieves stress when he gets pissed on in a urinal.
Yeah.
He puts on a scuba diving suit and climbs into a urinal and gets urinated on, and this leads to him being more focused. at work.
There's always the capitalist twist of how to use spirituality, wellness, and sexuality to be instrumentalized for profit. Always. So he would be like, he would be in the article. You know what? I just find when she's pissed on me and I've rolled around and she stomped on me and trampled on me with her. I like the idea of being trampled on by high heels. Like it's sort of like, you know, you picture like an elephant.
By a horde, a stampede?
Yeah. Multiple sex workers, not prostitutes, sex workers trample me in their high horde.
And what happens is
I work better. I work better after that. My afternoon is more creative.
Yeah.
If I get trampled on by a horde,
I'm more creative.
A stampede of sex workers, I'm more creative. I have more juices.
More energy.
More energy.
Unbounded creativity. Unbounded.
You could just see the headline. How your sexual experimentation can lead to more creativity and energy. And it's got a picture of the CEO and he's got like someone shit on his face. Like a woman shit on his face, and he's like looking like, you know, the picture.
I'm better at Sudoku puzzles after this. Yeah. And that's what's weird is that it's so strange to me as well that in the 50s, you know, they're all like, you know, harassing the secretaries and, you know, amongst all that.
Yeah.
You know, going, hey, toots.
Yeah.
Like, but that was like almost mandated to show you're a part of the company. You know what I mean? Like that was almost, you have to harass the secretary. Otherwise you're not part of the team, you know?
Yeah. Institutionalized sexual harassment was acceptable, but strange kinks or like, you know, strange sexual behavior or homosexuality.
You'd be ostracized for that. You'd be ostracized
for that, not the sexual harassment.
Now it's the opposite. Now it's the opposite because if you wolf whistle on the street, you can lose your job. You know, if you wolf whistle, but if you're not fisting a midget on the weekend, you know, you're an idiot. You're a loser. Which means I go to Woolworths like sometimes like 8 or 9 times a day.
Right.
Like just an insane number of times. And this guy it's a lot.
It's irregular.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
It's irregular and it's regular. And there's a guy that sells big issues outside the Woolworths, which is great. Because he seems like a cool guy. Like he seems really nice and but I haven't said hello to him yet.
Right.
Because firstly, I'm wearing a mask when I go, which I don't think it just feels weird to approach someone with a mask without any necessity kind of thing for a chin wag.
Interesting
point. That's the first reason. Yeah, it's just a little distancing, I find, you know, when you've got glasses, a mask, and AirPods in to start a rapport with a stranger.
So in a way,
I mean, that's how disconnected.
The pandemic has allowed you to be more disconnected, even just when you're around, because there's more ways you can block out people.
Yes, sometimes I feel like an isolated vessel when I go out because, firstly, glasses are quite distancing anyway. Spectacles, like it's creating literally, it's almost like the world, reality itself has become a 3D movie for your stoned mind. And then you've got headphones in, you're listening to a podcast on making eye contact and like, you know, just social decorum. And then you've got like a mask just disconnecting you from, so you just completely disconnected on 3 levels. Like it's an audio visual disconnection and making it harder to build with people. But
because it used to just be your personality.
This guy, the reason
It used to be just your personality, but now you've
it
got
used to just be
quite a physical, literal armor to prevent you from having to have discourse with anyone or thing.
It's fun. Yeah, it used to just be a metaphorical thing of the personality. Like it used to be hard to pin it down materially, but it was just a vibe of no, we don't want to. We're going away from you, distant, emotionally distant. You're right. It is a physical representation of how people feel, which is another reason why I got a haircut, because I think when you have like big curly hair, people talk to you more. In public, you're more approachable. Yeah,
because you look goofy.
They're like, this guy's a clown. Yeah, friendly clown. Talk his ear off for 20 minutes. This clown of a man.
So,
but yeah, anyway, the guy's selling big issues, so I haven't said hello to him yet. Because I go there so much, if I start a hello precedent.
You don't want to have the hello precedent.
Well, because we're just going to be saying hello all the time if we start it up. He's the guy I see more than anyone else on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, I see him so much that we're just going to be saying hello all day. You know, we'll get awkward with the number of hellos.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Like, do you see any? Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Other reasons.
Would you buy a big issue?
I feel like at the price point it's at, I want to buy it. And I want to get to a place where I can buy it comfortably without having to think of being evicted after. You know what I mean? Like, I want to think of it like I would buy it if I didn't think me buying it would make me turn into him. You know, I feel closer to him. Like, I'm one big issue away from selling the big issue. If that makes sense.
Right.
Like, I buy that big issue, we have a good chin wag, we build a rapport, but then next week I'm going to be on the other street corner. We'll be competing for space and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like territory. Like, that's my corner, you fuckhead. I'm getting these people. You know what I mean? Like, there's...
In a way, you're doing him a favor by not buying it.
Yes. I like to think so.
I always find it funny that they often have profiles and stuff. Like, there's a weird sort of fetishization that CEOs have with the homeless. Like, they try and do, I think, virtue signaling that they care about the homeless. Like, the worst example of that? Have you ever heard of a show called Undercover Boss?
Yeah.
It's where CEOs pretend to be a regular employee and don't reveal.
You'll see the CEO of Grilled making a Zen hen. Yeah.
Right, exactly. The most interesting one is the American one. I don't know if you've ever watched. I'm not sure if it's called Undercover Boss in America, but the equivalent. And of course, America is a dilapidated capitalist state where their workers have increasingly have less rights, less money, and there's no unions. The gap between the CEO and the employees is so vast, much bigger than Australia. Like, it's just, it becomes unbelievable. Like, the CEO comes in and they're all like American. They've got these big fake glowing, you know, the fake teeth and the fake tan, and their haircut's $200, and they pull up in a limousine and get out and they're like, you know, and then they go in. And the one I watched, the CEO just clearly had work done and was like just obviously rich, even though he was wearing a White Castle apron, you know, Burger King or whatever apron.
That doesn't fool you.
It doesn't fool you. It doesn't fool you. It doesn't. No one working at Burger King has had their eyes done and their wrinkles removed and shit. Yeah. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the woman working at the grill obviously had a meth habit. She could tell she was on meth. She had like sores. She was erratic, and she was complaining to the boss, who she didn't know was the boss. Thought he was an irregular employee, that the surveillance cameras were making her paranoid.
Yeah.
So she's going through a paranoid psychosis from meth, going, yeah, the fucking cameras are fucking watching us. And he's there going, oh, wow, this is interesting. I guess maybe we shouldn't have the cameras pointed at the employees, like pretending he's normal. And it's just this bizarre, farcical fucking parade of just what's gone wrong with our society.
And with that show, was his conclusion like something like, oh, I'm going to fire this person for being on meth? Or is he like, oh, that sucks that they're on meth, I should help them?
Well, that's the thing.
Like I can't predict where that...
Well, no, that's the thing, is that because that's what I mean by it's farcical, because he goes, oh, that's interesting, and then just like pretends like he's there to help, as opposed to the fact that he's part of a system that puts people onto meth and has them working a grill in a paranoid frenzy where they think the surveillance cameras are watching them and the people are monitoring them or whatever, So he's just like, oh, well, we should do something about that. That's interesting for the cameras and shit.
But then afterwards, he's like, you fucking get the fuck out of here. Pack your shit.
Totally.
You're doing meth on my time. You think the camera... Yeah. It's like, yeah. It's not like it's good when the boss is at work. You know what I mean? It makes everyone on edge.
Yeah.
Like it's so good when the boss leaves and you can just go and take a 4-hour shit and like no one reports it.
Yeah, they don't show that in Undercover Boss.
On the forklift.
They don't show that bit in Undercover Boss where the guy's like, oh, thank God, the boss is gone, thinking that the boss, isn't there. And goes, I'm going to take a 4-hour shit and wank in the toilets with pornography playing at full blast out of my phone. And then the boss is like, oh, white teeth and fake tan, going, oh, that's crazy. It's weird. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll be wanking for hours because I'm on
taking a portable... Why are you taking a portable audio system into the bathroom? Is that so you can dance? You can dance. People take portable audio systems in.
It's for the meth addict to play pornography.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And he goes to camera in the documentary. He goes to camera and documentary like, oh, it's so great. They're taking portable audio systems and video and their phones into the toilets to dance. And then it cuts to reality and it's just a meth head like doing a live stream of a pussy for fucking money or whatever. Like doing like live pornography or whatever in the toilets to make up the money that cunt isn't paying them.
Well, that's that. Yeah, it's like it's like when you work and the boss is there, you don't even go to the bathroom to pee because he'll be like, "What are you doing?" Like, when the boss is the boss is there, you're like completely different.
Well, in America, because it's so dilapidated and fucked over there that they couldn't have the real uncut version. I want to see the real uncut version of Undercover Boss where the boss comes in undercover and they're like, hey, man, the boss ain't in today. Check this out. And he's just like doing racks of coke and meth off the table and hookers sex workers are coming in and they're having orgies and they shut the whole place down and fucking start selling drugs and car parts and stuff out the back. And they're like, it's just like unbelievable, unbelievable debauchery.
And the boss is just like, what is happening? This is cool. It's good.
I feel like these guys really, really have a lot of fun when I'm not there, but they could work a little harder.
Yeah. But just internally going, we're going to fucking shut this down. We need to read. That's the thing. That other show?
What other show?
Filthy Rich and Homeless.
Oh, yeah. It's another one.
Filthy Rich and Homeless?
That's another one.
That one I find I find that one offensive as well because it's like they get like rich people to pretend to be homeless. Like do homeless cosplay. Like it's another level. Do you know what I mean? Undercover Boss, they're doing like working class cosplay, but
Right.
this is like another level to like where, and then you've got like a CEO pretending to be homeless and I remember reading this article about one, and she's like, "Yeah, it was great. I reckon if I just taught them all neuro-linguistic programming, they could get out of this situation." And she was like talking about how she like would talk people into buying her sandwiches and coffees, and how she was killing it at being homeless. Like she'd made it into like a business almost. She's like, I got a guy who brings me coffee, another guy brings me a panini. If I taught these guys neuro-linguistic programming, these other homeless people, they wouldn't be such like schmucks.
Disgusting.
Well, isn't that just so like the problem with it's like it almost it puts the blame on them rather than
the problem is
system.
these
It's
shows,
like if they just knew,
they sort of normalize that what's happening as opposed to kind of addressing the systemic problems that cause it. Especially the undercover CEO thing. That's like, it's like everything's great. How goofy would it be if the CEO went undercover? It's like there shouldn't be a fucking cunt on millions of dollars a year and one person on meth, you know, having a psychosis at the grill.
yeah, I don't understand. They always have like the CEO goes and tries out the homeless lifestyle and goes, "Oh, isn't it awful? You know, you're in a park and oh, it's crazy. I actually run a Fortune 500 company, but I'm being homeless for this show." And like they should have one where, like, why not have one where the homeless person gets to sample the CEO lifestyle? You know what I mean? Like they let the homeless person go into like Price Waterhouse Coopers into the board meeting and like grab the San Pellegrino, and like they let them direct the meeting for the day, and they get to use the oligarch's mansion and stuff and get all the homeless friends over and like try on their Peter Alexander pajamas going, fuck, they sleep in this bed. This is fucking crazy, and just use all their shit.
Yeah, and have them selling
film that.
Film that. Have them all selling the furniture.
Filthy, homeless, and rich.
Filthy, homeless, and rich. Selling all the furniture, and like everyone's moving in, and he gives, you know, lets everyone use the mansion, opens it up for everybody, and all the big yard space can be used for other homeless people to have like a place to sleep where it's free from police. And then
they're selling ottomans.
The rich guy comes back and goes, Jesus, what have you done? Turn this into a bloody giant homeless shelter where everyone gets to use all this stuff. Oh, geez.
Well, the space that I don't use because I'm actually at my other house. So
I have so many houses that I don't use, and you don't have a house. What a crazy show.